Hello, I am Madam Gracious Kanzini from Educare TZ. Warmly welcome in our media so as you can make discussion on our chemistry subject, and our class level is Form 5. My students, we are going to start tutorials of Form 5 level, whereby we are going to discuss those topics in chemistry subject. Okay, my student, in chemistry subject, we are going to start in our topic, which is general chemistry. This topic, it have some main cool subtopic, which is the atomic, but also there is the chemical bonding. And here in the atomic, there is a lot of subtopics. The same apply in the chemical bonding. As long as my students will have the prior knowledge from once you are in form 2, form 3 and form 4, about the atomic, but also about the concept of bonding. But here we are going to look on the further concepts, or the more the broader concept of this, the atomic, but also the chemical bond. As I've said that our topic is have mainly two subtopic, which is the atomic. So starting from today, we are going to start looking the concepts or those subtopics which are in the atomic. And in the atomic, we are going to cover the main 4 subtopics. The first one is the Dalton's atomic theory. The second is Bohr's atomic theory. The third one is the atomic mass. And the fourth one is the quantum theory. So here in the atomic, means that we are going to make a coverage of these subtopics. And within each subtopic kuna vijisubtopic vingine vidogo vidogo, but I hope all of them tutadiscuss vizuri hapa kwenye media yetu, so make sure una follow media yetu kwa ajili ya kupata hayo maarifa tutakayo discuss. But also, as I've said that our general chemistry is made up of the atomic but also the chemical bonding. In the chemical bonding, we are going to have the main 2 subtopics, which are the types of bonding but also hybridization of atomic orbitals. When we come into the types of bonding, you can see that you as a student, since you are in Form 2, since you are in Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, somehow you know about those types of bond. But here in this Form 5 level, we are trying to go further. We are going to we are trying to learn deeply toward this kind of bonds. But also there is some of the additional concept toward these types of bonding. The same apply in the issue of hybridization of atomic orbitals. So these are the main subtopic in our chemical bonding. But within it, there is several subtopics. So all in all, I hope we are going to make it well understandable, and I hope you will enjoy the lesson. As a Form 5 student, make sure in the beginning unafanya coverage ya topic hizi, kwa sababu almost huwa mpaka unafika Form 6 vitu vinakuwa ni vingi sana 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 sana. Okay, so through our media we are going to make the discussion, and today we are going to start on the issue of the atomic, particularly in the Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton atomic theory. So my students, you can see that the study about matter started in this one when John Dalton postulated his theory, the Dalton atomic theory, kwamba the study of matter it started kipindi cha 1800. So utaona kwamba the scientists tried to write their idea. The aim was to discuss about the structure of atom. The structure of atom. That's why we are talking about the atomic. The atomic. So there is this founder or this scientist known as John Dalton, who postulated his idea in early centuries. So you can say that finally alikuja na theory yake ambayo ilikuja kuitwa Dalton's atomic theory. And in this section you will learn about the Dalton's atomic theory and its amendments, establish evidence for the electronic structure of the atom and atomic model. So here in this Dalton atomic theory, obviously simply we are going to see those atomic Dalton atomic theory mean that what are the postulates, yeye alitoa mapendekezo gani kulingana na the structure of the atom, but also in the issue of the atomic models. But also we are going to look on the amendments, toward the structure of the atom, but also the evidences that aim to show how do atom structure look like or arranged. Okay, now let us see the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Postulates of Dalton atomic theory. When we talk about postulates, simply we are talking about the assumption, idea. Someone tried to raise the idea of a certain thing. So here, this is the postulates of the Dalton atomic theory, whereby this scientist stated that matter is made up of indivisible particles called the atom. So the first postulate of Dalton atomic theory, he tried to look on the issue of matter. He tried to look on the issue of matter and atom. So he came up with the idea that matter is made up of indivisible, or we can say thin particle, meaning that the particle which can be seen. So he came with this idea that matter is made up of indivisible particles called the atom. But also he suggested another postulate which stated that atoms can neither be created nor destroyed. Kwa namna moja au nyingine anamaanisha kwamba atom inaweza kuwa created lakini isiwe destroyed. So he tried to look on that side. Another one is the atoms of the same element resemble on another in mass and properties, but they differ from atoms of other element. When we say resemble, mean that ni vitu ambavyo vinafanana, kuna mfanano wa vitu. So according to the Dalton atomic theory, he tried to say that atom of the same element, they have the similar or they resemble on another in terms of mass and properties, but they differ from atoms of other elements. He tried to come with that postulate or with that assumption. But also he stated that the atoms combine with each other in simple whole ratios to form a compound. So akiwa na maana kwamba all formation of the compound is due to the combination of those elements in the simple ratio. So that was just the assumption. Remember, these scientists, they read their idea, but you have to provide the evidence through doing the experiment which will prove your theory. So according to Dalton, he tried to say that the atom combine with each other in a simple whole ratio, meaning that all compound must be formed while this atom combine in a simple ratio. So after there, we can see that those are postulates of Dalton atomic theory. Postulate of Dalton atomic theory, or the assumptions. But after looking those postulates, here let us look on the amendments of Dalton atomic theory. Amendment. When we talk about amendment, is like maboresho au mabadiliko yoyote, any development. So after this, Dalton came with those assumptions. The further experiment was done so as to prove what he suggested. So we can say that Dalton's atomic theory was widely accepted up to the end of 19th century, kwamba zile assumptions zake alizokuja nazo zilikuja kukubalika mpaka kwenye century ya 19. So was just widely accepted up to the end of this 19th century. Thereafter, a series of experimental evidence showed that the Dalton atomic theory gave a major foundation on the study about the nature of the atom. So after there, you can see that those different experiments zikaonyesha kwamba these Dalton atomic theories give a major foundation. Yani huyu Dalton alijenga msingi wa experiment mbalimbali kufanyika kuhusiana na the whole concept or the nature of the atom. After there, now the following amendments were made on the Dalton atomic theory, mean that we are going to look on the modern one. Kumbuka, in the beginning there was the assumption, but through those assumptions the more experimental was conducted, and it was like those assumptions was the major foundation for further experiment in order to look on the nature of the atom. So you can see that theory that led to the modern atomic theory, which states as follows. So now let us see the Dalton atomic theory, modern Dalton atomic theories, kwamba baada ya assumption zikaja modern one. So now how about modern? So in modern mean that zile assumption zake za mwanzo zinakuwa modified, kunakuwa na some of the amendments, some of the changes, some of the improvements. That's the word, that is the meaning of amendment. So now we are going to look the relationship, or we are going to try to modify from the first assumption to the modern one. So the first assumption is atoms are made up of subatomic particles called electrons, protons, and neutrons. As you can remember that the earlier assumption of the Dalton atomic theory, he stated that matter is made up of indivisible particle known as atom. So when we come up in the modern one, you can see that atom is made up of this subatomic particle, and this subatomic particle can be observed. And this subatomic particle, we are talking about the atom, electron, protons, and the neutrons. Electrons, protons, and neutrons. But also, atom can be created or destroyed by the nuclear fusion. You can remember in the earlier assumption of the Dalton atomic theory, he stated that atom can neither created nor destroyed. But in the modern one, we see that the atom can be created, but also can be destroyed. How? Through the nuclear reaction. The nuclear reaction, it involves the nuclear fission, but also nuclear fusion. So you can see that some of the substances can break up, can disintegrate to each other. So that disintegration of those substances, obviously, it will lead the destruction of atom. But also, sometimes the different substances combine to each other. So the combination, the reaction of those substances, it leads to the creation of the atom. Therefore, we can say that the atoms can be created or destroyed by the nuclear reaction. Mean that reaction tofauti zinaweza zikatake place kwa namna moja au nyingine, ika create atom or ika destroy atom. Na hizi reaction, we say there is nuclear fission, but also there is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fissions and nuclear fusion. Hivi ni vitu viwili tofauti. We are talking about a combination, but also we are talking about disintegration. So the atom can be created or destroyed in this kind of reaction. But also another modern one is the atoms of the same element may have the different atomic masses, and they are called the isotope. When you come back in the earlier assumption, tuliona kwamba alisema ni different, na kuna ile resembling inatokea katika atom of the element. But when we come in the modern, the Dalton said that atoms of the same element may have different atomic masses, and they are called the isotope. Kwamba the same element, it tends to have the same number of protons or the same number of electrons, but when we come into the atomic mass, they appear different. And this concept is proved in the isotope. Due to remember the further experiment was done because of those early assumption of Dalton atomic theory. That's why this modern one tried to modify those assumptions. So you can see that the concept of isotope ilikuja kurise pale kwenye ile earlier assumption ya Dalton alikuwa amesema. So due to that there is amendment. That's why tukapata the modern one, which says that the atom of the same element may have the different atomic masses, but when we come into the issue of atomic number or the number of protons or the number of electrons, they are the same. For instance, good example is the protium. Protium is the hydrogen which is made up of 1 electron and 1 atomic mass. But there is the deuterium. Deuterium the same is the hydrogen which is made up of 1 atomic number but 2 mass number. And the tritium the same ni hydrogen ambayo atomic number yake ni 1, lakini tunapokuja kwenye mass number is 3. So hapa ndipo tunapata the concept of isotope, kwamba atom of the same element they have the different atomic masses. This one, as you see, atomic masses ni hizi superscript za juu, afu hizi subscript ndizo tunaziita atomic number or protons or electrons. So you can see that the same element ni hydrogen huyo, lakini utaona kwamba ana masses ya 1, ya 2, ya 3. So this is the modern atomic theory. So you can see that however some elements have no isotope. Sasa tunapokuja kwenye hii issue ya isotope, utaona kwamba some of elements of course they don't have this kind of isotope, but in some few cases atoms of the different elements may have the same atomic mass. Kwamba atom of the different element ina maana element tofauti kabisa, element X na element Y, lakini utakuja kuona kwamba this element they tend to match their atomic masses, but they are not what isotope, kwa sababu isotope ni atom of the same element. Sasa tunapokuja huku tunaona kwamba baadhi ya element nyingine utaona kwamba the different element they tend to have the same mass number. So the good example is the argon and calcium. Such elements are called isobars. Kwa hiyo kulingana na zile experiments zilizokuwa zinafanyika kulingana na the early assumption, walikuja na concept ya isotope, lakini pia kulingana na zile proof wakaja na concept ya isobar, kwamba different element, lakini they tend to have the same mass. What does it mean? Mfano argon tunajua kwamba its atomic number is 18. Number of electron is 18. But its molar mass or atomic mass ni 40. Sasa tunapokuja kwa calcium tunajua kwamba yeye ana atomic number ya 20, lakini atomic mass ni 40. So you can see that the calcium and argon are the different element. Na ukiangalia pia hata kwenye appearance existence kwenye periodic table. Calcium yupo kivyake kabisa na argon yupo kivyake kabisa. Calcium ni group number 2, argon ni group number 8. Those noble gases au stable stable element in the group number 8. So can you say that but the argon and the calcium, they tend to have the same molecular mass or atomic mass. That's why tunakuja kusema kwamba the element of the different element may have the same atomic mass, but the different atomic number, and this is what we call isobar. Okay, another one is atoms do not